real beef with string cheese, to be honest with you.
Tell me.
It's something about that and Baby Bells, like, the consistency of it, like, think about, like,
I
when we were
love
little and they're in the see, that's not for me.
I'm having the time of my life right now.
It's just but, like, I love a cheese platter,
You
but when
do.
it's stringy,
You love a
I
charcuterie.
love a charcuterie board, as they say.
I think because all the cheeses I like are like the more bland cheeses. I like with this like all the like I'm not a ghost cheese gal, I'm not a blue cheese gal. Give me
Hate
like
blue cheese. Foul.
yeah.
I'm I feel like Holly's clients are gonna walk in and be like, "What's happening?" And be like, "You're gonna be on our very popular podcast, so be
What's
grateful."
she teaching?
Watch
Is
out.
she teaching
Be
talent?
grateful.
Yeah, literally.
Did I
They're
tell
celebrities in the making.
I didn't tell Holly anything, but I feel like it's fine.
No, you're fine.
So we're gonna do a super brief update
Uh-huh.
on us.
Are we going? Did you press record?
Yeah, I did. We're
Oh,
recording.
I didn't see you. I thought you were just telling me that we're chatting. I was like, yeah, we are gonna chat.
We're
Never
gonna do
mind.
a super brief update, and then
Mhm.
yeah, Layla does that. She'll be like, "And a 3, and a 2, and a 1."
Yeah, I do like the intro. I do the countdown. I let you know you're on the
No,
air.
I mean, we have to know.
What is
The
what is it
people
that
have
Dak
to know.
Shepard always says? ABR, always be
Always
recording.
be recording. That's why I'm recording, because I'm that kind of thinker.
Locked in.
Um,
Fair.
so we're gonna do a brief update and then talk to Sarah about you phrased it well, Layla. What did you say on the phone to me? Women in business?
She's a businesswoman.
Oh.
Yes.
You always say this. You're like, you phrased it well. I'm like, what? I don't know what I've been saying. And
A
you
woman
you
in
quote
business.
me back to me so much, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I did say that. I hope.
You have a way with words and I don't necessarily.
Stop it.
So I'm trying
All
to think
right,
of what
so
there is to update on. A lot. First of all, we haven't posted an episode.
I have things to update
Layla,
on. So I respectfully, I hate America's geography. I like, and I need the geography to be part of this. Yeah, no. So I need the whole sentence to
put
be
this
there
in the
because,
middle.
like, I know we all have mixed feelings on America right now. Politics aside, I've never been more confused by trying to figure out if something is a city, a state. Why do some cities and some states have the same name and then some don't? And then
The
it's
confidence,
just so much.
the confidence with which Layla sent me a voice message saying, "I just realized that Pennsylvania is a city, not a state."
No. Yeah. Oh no, I know it was supposed to be Philly because I
Yeah,
was talking
you
about
just
Philadelphia
meant
and
it
I
the
was
other way, but it
so
was so
yeah.
funny. And then
I was just really frustrated by
have
American
you looked at
geography
the
yesterday.
vote? I put it on our Instagram, like who Googled this,
Did
and there
everyone
was
think it was me?
now you're winning, but at one point it was 50% you and 50% Joseph Pilates, and I just missed it, but I almost screenshotted it and said, "All I'm gonna say is I've never seen Layla and Joseph Pilates in the same room at the same time. We don't
Hey,
know.
hey,
You could be him."
I don't want to say it, but
I don't wanna be the one to say it.
I can't be the one making that claim. So I'm glad that my business partner is.
And the reason
But
that's
yeah,
relevant is
I don't love
because
it.
you're still working on building the directory.
I think I will be forever working on this. I think this is my lifelong project now, is
It
just
will
this
be
director.
forever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're getting very, 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 very close to releasing it all,
Mhm.
and that will be a
Yeah, I just
project.
think as a geography major, I know I didn't really do American geography much, and it's
That
just
makes it even
really
funnier.
Did they
yeah, I
miss
think
over
that's
America?
I just don't we don't really centralize America as much as America tends to centralize America.
That is so
And
fair.
but I just think I to be honest, I also to my own credit, I would do like human geography rather than physical geography. It's like the defense I'm like riding on. But yeah, I've never been so confused in my entire life. Because I think also because I consume a lot of American media. So a lot of names of like cities and states are there in my brain, but I think they're all just muddled together because then you have some states where the city and the state shares the same name, like New York. Kind of keeps confusing me. There's
I
New
feel like
York,
we don't even know the
the state,
states.
and
No, I failed that test when we were in 3rd grade. Did you do that in 3rd grade?
Yeah.
We had to do a
oh,
capital and a state test, and you had to put them all down, and in my mind, I was like, "Well, I can't write the state if I don't also have the capital," so I only had, like, 4 down, and my teacher pulled my mom aside and was like, "Ma'am, she doesn't know any of the
ma'am,
states."
Ma'am, I have a question. What's the
Yeah.
the capital of what? Each state has a capital?
Yeah,
As
yeah,
if it's
yeah.
like a
Yes,
country.
Layla.
They didn't teach us this. I know that countries have capitals,
No,
but
in
why
all the
does
states.
All the states have
And we're
capitals.
supposed to know them. I could gun to my head, I'm dead. Like I couldn't do it for you. We're supposed to by the ripe age of
And
8, but
I don't know most of them still, to be honest. So,
Lansing.
Lansing
That's
is
what
the
I got.
capital of
That's what I got
Michigan,
for you.
in case anyone
Oh,
wanted to know.
yeah,
It's not.
I had no knowledge of this. And I've very been confidently walking around telling everyone because I've decided that the NFL I've now made my lifelong
Oh, this is
commitment
funny.
to my
This is good.
NFL. Yeah. So I have like with every other sort of like sport I watch or like with football, I like became a Manchester United fan because of my best friend. With F1, I chose Ferrari because I just felt I related to, I don't know, I like the history of the team. So then I was like, oh, I want to have an NFL team. Like, I need to make my allegiance. My dad is a Bills fan because of his older brother, but I just didn't really want to associate with the Bills. I don't love the blue. Like, the blue is nice, but I was like, okay, I want my own team. So I went on to my quest to figure out which NFL team I wanted. And my God, wait! It just arrived today.
I
Okay,
did this
guys,
with
are
Miami
you
Dolphins.
ready?
Do
Really?
you
This
remember
is
this?
this is my team reveal
You look
for
so much
the rest of
chipper all of a sudden. The fact that that was like en route in the mail and you didn't know if Pennsylvania was a state
no,
is
I
too
really
good.
did. I'm now even more confused about NFL teams though, because I'm like, so what? So does every city have a team? But you guys must have a lot of city, like you have more cities than states.
I struggle. I feel like Sarah's more sports knowledgeable than I am with football
American football? Yeah, it's probably.
and like hockey and stuff.
Ice
I
hockey's the
guess
best
each
one.
city does not each city, but some cities.
Yeah, not all of them, but like the bigger ones have them.
Like
Yeah.
Michigan
I need
as
to
a
get into the rules now of like NFL, but I like what I see about the team. Like the thing is also I was like, I don't want to be a bandwagoner.
Say
I
yeah,
don't want
what do you like about what you see, Layla?
Yeah.
they seem very hard work, like because I hear that the city also of
Intellectuals.
Philadelphia is very like go go, like they don't take it like lightly. You know, they're hardworking.
I've
They're
been there.
very
Have
like
you been
brutal
there?
sports fans.
To the
Philadelphia?
NFL.
No, Philadelphia.
No, it's close to Pittsburgh though, and we don't like Pittsburgh.
We're not Pittsburgh's biggest fans.
No. It's a
So
story for a different day, but
Yeah.
also the like so there was like multiple avenues. I like that's my favorite color of green, like that shade of green. So I was like, okay. I do like Jason Kelsey, but then the nail I really like Jalen Hurts, who's the quarterback. I just really like he seems very like focused. And then Hannah Einbinder when she won her Grammy for Hacks. Was that a Grammy? Whatever it was.
Who is that?
She said, I don't she's an actress. She said, go birds, fuck ice, free Palestine. And I was like, I like this woman. I was like,
Gold.
whatever she supports, I like that world. So
This is good. I
I'm
like this direction.
I was like, if she's a fan, I was like, I want to be a fan of whatever she's a fan of. You know, like if this is the fan culture that's being cultivated, I join that world. So
Maybe we should. I don't really follow American football, but I feel like I
nothing
know
like
more
concussions.
people here who are super into it than I did in the States
Really?
because it's such a different like thing. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I'll
girl.
beep that name.
Yeah.
He loved American football, and I was always like, okay.
who's that man? Who's
Anyway, what else?
so yeah,
Do we have
personally not a
anything?
fan.
Do we have anything else to update on Honeycomb Studios except that it's like coming
Oh.
soon?
Yeah. I was
We
gonna say,
haven't released any episodes of Sticky Notes the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
we've been a bit busy, a bit
I've been a bit
overwhelmed.
busy. I filmed a
I
little
was
like
really
clip of
overwhelmed.
myself explaining why, and then I just didn't post it because I was like, I said a lot of things. I was like, Layla's moving soon, and like all these things are going on, and I was like, I'm just speaking for Layla right now, so that's not really fair. But I was like, I
Yeah,
definitely
I
have a
was
lot
just
going on.
overwhelmed. Yeah, I think
It
we were
just
both
hasn't
just
been
really
priority.
busy.
Yeah,
And I think
and we're supposed to
especially
track. Go ahead.
I was especially as we're getting close to like the Honeycomb launch date, I think there's less now that we want to say because we just want it to be out there in the world and then maybe we can backdate and like talk about things rather than like in the right now. I think you and I just need to get our head down. I speak for both of us and like me as well. We just need to like get it done. And I would,
Yeah,
if I had like 2 hours spare in the week, I would rather put those 2 hours towards Honeycomb
agreed.
than because it's like we are right there at the like finish line pretty much.
Exciting. It's very exciting. And something I've noticed just in the last 2 weeks doing like editing of oral histories and like making ads and stuff for Honeycomb Studios. It takes so much time. We were kind of we were doing that with the clips and stuff on Riverside and with sticky notes. And it's like you said, I just didn't, the hours that I was spending on sticky notes, I then had to facilitate into the actual thing that sticky notes is supposed to be tracking.
Yeah. I guess the
So,
main thing we can say is we had a photo shoot for photos for the website.
oh yeah, we did have a photo shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the
That's so
main thing.
fun.
Rose is in we're in the same city right now. We're not together, but we're
We're
in
in
the
the
same
same
city.
city. And I think it'll be the last time we're in the same city for who knows? I mean,
A
maybe the
long
spring.
time.
Who
Yeah.
knows when you'll come back to visit and when I'll come back to visit. We'll have to time it for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, we've been doing stuff behind the scenes, and I think you're right. Once it launches, we can backdate some info
Yeah.
about all of that.
Because I think
And
even if we have
today,
had the time over the last few weeks, I think either way, I would have been like, let's just get it out into the world. And then I think it's easier to talk about when people know what we want, like when you can see what we are talking about as well. It just all makes more
yes,
sense.
agreed. It just needs to be out there so it can like mold and develop, and we can see who it
Yes.
attracts and all that. And today is kind of, for sticky notes, a pivotal point because we are still going to talk about Honeycomb Studios, but we now have this other layer, the oral histories interviews, which are a part of Honeycomb Studios. And that is going to be kind of like the podcast piece on that side. And then sticky notes, which we want to keep going, we're just changing it up a little bit. We're
Mhm.
changing the direction that it's taking. So today, Sarah's with us. I don't
Hi,
know. Will she appear in
Sarah.
the thing? I think you will. I assume you
Can you
will.
Mhm.
say like
No, I mean, I can see the side of you, but like I was saying, I don't know if how much of you
Holly's
will
in the
show up in
background
the.
getting ready for
I was
class.
about to ask who that was. Oh, I see
It's
that. It's a
Holly.
very Holly outfit.
trousers?
But yeah, they're fun.
Is that better if I'm like here?
Yeah. Do you want me to move back, or are you fine like that?
No.
I would say you guys are good and you guys are pictured well there. Because then if it does make any little clips, that way we can all show. Because I
Yeah,
realized the one thing with the Max and I were like so far from one another that
yeah. But
spoiler.
the full interview will show.
Mhm.
But so we're changing the direction of sticky notes a little bit. It'll still track Honeycomb Studios, but we're going to be at times interviewing people in our lives who are just doing interesting things, especially women. I texted Sarah last night and I was like, females in business, that doesn't sound quite right. Why am I using like
Yeah.
the sex term? I was like, females in business. It's usually just women.
It's giving women in
Yeah.
tech.
Yeah, it's like what? Females in tech. Like why? I don't know why. It's like when I think our podcast server is called Buzzacott and it's
Yeah.
just
I
not
think you've
called
been
that.
saying it so much that I'm getting confused now. It's just what the name is that I
I
keep
just
getting
avoid
thrown
saying
off.
it. Yeah.
So like yesterday when we called, I was like, whatever our podcast hosting platform is, because I just could not think of it.
Buzz something.
Yeah, women in male dominated fields. You know, did you see that when
Yeah,
that was trending? And it's just like women.
exactly.
But I think yeah, I mean we've touched on it. I think in one of the last few podcasts where we said either way we wanted this to sort of also become a bit more of a personal podcast, especially as we both navigate being in different countries and just like moving and
Moving, so much fun.
yeah, just like the realities of life. And we were talking about how we want, I think the best part of our platform, or part of this would be to give an authenticity to of our like to ourselves, because then when people spend so much time with us through workouts, there's like that emotional connection to who we are. So I think yeah, it will transform into something more of just like a. It'll be nice also for you and I to have like weekly catch ups, and I think a lot of our life will be changing separately over the next few months. So
Yeah,
it'll be a way for
true.
us to talk about that, our personal lives, and then when we have friends such as guest number one, Sarah, who do very interesting things,
Yeah.
we can have interviews or just like a conversation
And I
with
feel
Sarah.
like Layla doesn't, it's good because I obviously know everything you're doing, but Layla maybe doesn't know the details.
Hmm.
So maybe you could just give us a little synopsis of what you're doing now. I know there's kind of two avenues. There's I don't know how much you wanna talk about your stuff versus, like, you and Mike's stuff or, like, what there's
Yeah.
kind of 2 avenues, but you can explain which are maybe one at a time, and
Yeah.
then
No, we can also and then you guys can decide if you want the birdies and bomb stuff in this one, or that can be a whole separate one. And then Mike can come on and talk about that as
But this is
well.
fun because because I see stuff on the Instagram and I like mean to ask. I think this is actually a very good dynamic as well because like we're saying, I know minimal, Rose knows everything. So I feel like Rose will know the good questions to ask in terms of like to dig deeper. Whereas I'm like, give us the basics. I'm like,
The
what is
basics of it
this?
all.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
take it away.
Yeah. So I guess a little bit background about me is
Mhm.
I originally studied opera. That's what we were doing for a while. I started training classically when I was about 13.
Not related to Pilates.
Not oh yeah, that's a really good point. This is
No.
I have no Pilates background. Like my one Pilates experience was with Layla.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
was
true, and
about
she
you
to say
loved
she
it.
took my tower class. Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm not a bendy girly. I'm not a Pilates girl. I would like to be. We're working on it slowly but surely.
You're
But
very strong, though.
yeah, I like to pick up heavy things girly. That's more like my vibe. And I was a swimmer. I did the whole thing. I really liked your guys' episode talking about your different approaches to coming into fitness and
Mhm.
body stuff. I found that really, really relatable. So you guys should definitely reiterate on that, like down the line. Like I thought that was so, so interesting. Um,
I've actually been having a bunch of like new thoughts about that whole like fitnessy stuff. So yeah, I think we're due. I mean, it'll just go coincide with everything
Like,
in that world. But yeah,
with yourself or with
yeah. I mean, I don't want to not to take this away, but I was having things where it's like I'm meeting people now in a new body almost. It feels, and it's like people that meet me
mm,
now have a different perception of me than people who have grown up knowing me and seen all the transformations, and
Sarah
that
kinda
was
had
just
that
throwing
too.
me off.
yeah, I don't know if this is
Yeah,
might be a helpful actually start point depending on how you guys edit this, but
We could talk about it whatever,
babe,
I can
go,
kind of go into like how my fitness journey started because it's like kind
go
of
for it.
intense and then how that leads to like where I am now with what I
Yeah, I
do.
feel like it does connect to your, like, character
Yeah, yeah.
development.
So for those, I
Take it
think
away.
you've briefly explained to me on the pod before, but we met when we were 6 years old, best friends since then. And
Love
my
that.
Heart, wow.
I've always had like a very like contentious relationship, I think, with my body because of my family's
No, it's cut out.
Mhm.
my family's like body stuff. And so from like a very young age, at like 6 is the first time I remember it. I was like, "Oh, I don't have a flat tummy. That's a
Mm.
problem. This is something that I don't have that other people seem to." And then us growing up, her starting to wear bikinis, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "I don't feel comfortable doing that." And so I took that it was my own projection of my own stuff. And I was a
Mhm.
swimmer my whole life. I played, well, I'd say soccer, football, pretty active. And then when I started singing training and focusing more on theater, I stopped swimming, but I kept eating like a swimmer and I put
Mhm.
on weight like that. And I would
How
call
old
it,
was that?
I would have been, I think I gained a lot of weight when we were like 15, 16.
Which is a
That's
confusing
a hard
time
time as
anyway.
well.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
titties
Oh
at
my
8,
god.
bro. Like, my stuff has been all over the map, and then all of a sudden, I put on all this weight, but I like to call it potato on sticks because it's I have no fat
Wait,
on my
it
butt.
being your body?
Yeah, it being sorry, yeah, it being my body, and I was
It took me a second.
ripped.
I was trying to nod like potato. I
Yeah,
don't know where she's
totally,
going,
totally.
but
It
yeah,
being
yeah.
me. It is me. We're still working on the self-love dialogue, but
But Layla had a similar we talked about this. You, like, went on your We Fit thing,
Called
and
me obese
it was like, "You are
at the age of
obese,
10. Yeah.
and you're 10
I
years
think
old."
also similarly to like you having Rose, I had my cousin who obviously also male bodies like just burn through calories and he's like
yeah.
could eat like a horse and like struggle to gain weight. And so I was like, I'm eating the same as him, but it's coming out differently on my body versus his body. And like kind of like you're saying, like I was like kind of like to you when you stopped swimming, you're like, this this is different.
Well, and also
Something's
just, like,
changing.
how I was going through puberty versus all my other friends was
Mm.
so it was vastly different. Like, if you look at any photos of us from when we're little, I shot up, and my 2 best friends are
Oh,
literally, like, at my boob le like, I look like their mother in these
oh
photographs,
my God.
and my tits are huge, and everyone else is a
Fair.
child, and we're all ch I mean, we're all children, but I don't look like a child, and then it didn't really equal out until I was older, but then I'd put on a bunch of weight because I had
Mhm.
stopped exercising basically because I was only focusing on music and acting. and we went to the gym together
And
one
no
d
one's telling you how to eat. I don't know what they're, like, educating
No.
people on now. We had good examples from our parents, but we weren't, like, I don't know. You don't know. I didn't know how and what to eat.
Yeah.
Like, when do you learn that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, yeah, we're
Trial
both
and
lucky.
error.
Truly,
Totally.
truly trial and error, and I don't know, I think, like, my I've always been, I think, hyper aware, which is funny because of what I do now, which is, like, in the singing space, in the acting space, like, you have to be very aware of how you come across and how you look, and I wonder if that's always connected because I've always been hyper focused on that and not necessarily in a positive way, which I think is better now, but it's I mean, learning is not linear. Anyways, but I remember we would go to the g I know you've told the story before, we would go to the gym in the morning, run on the elliptical for, like, 45 minutes, do weights, then go to class, and I weighed myself one of these mornings and had full breakdown on the treadmill
Mhm.
when I was actually, like, faced with the number, and Rosie says it was one of the worst
Do you
days
think
of
you had a number in your brain that if it was a certain number, you
Oh,
would be
bro, if I weighed 125 pounds, like, in my head, that is the perfect amount of weight. I don't
Mhm.
know why, it's very arbitrary and not realistic to, like, my body size as a person, but I've always been like, "Oh, if I were in the 120s, if I were in the 120s," and what you see in the media, but
Mhm.
I think I hit 170. I don't know what that is
Mhm.
in kilos, but it was
someone do that quick
is it
math.
someone do that quick math real quick?
It's
Put it down there.
roughly half, I think. It's like 2 I know it's
Yeah, it's
2.2 if you're
2.2.
swapping 2, so
It's something like that, and which is objectively not healthy for my body type, and I wasn't putting in the I wasn't eating healthily, I was eating, like, 2 Nutella crepes a day. We were it was a little bit of a
Mm-mm-mm.
struggle city situation there, but then I very quickly was like, "Oh, if I don't eat carbohydrates, everything kinda disappears."
She day and night
Yeah,
cut out all
carbs. It was not
anything
good.
beige.
Was
You
You
gone.
are
just
my
gone.
soul sister. I did keto at 16 and have
It
been
was
recovering from
What
keto
is
trauma ever
keto?
since.
What does keto mean?
No
no
carbs.
carbs, basically. And from there and the way I carry my weight is very top heavy and in my face, and I had teachers coming up to me, people in school being like, "You look so much better." It was reinforced that all of a sudden I was
Mhm.
attractive, and thus being smaller. It just reinforced everything that I had ever thought, which is really sad.
That's so
Mhm.
crazy. And
Yeah.
then what are you supposed to do with that information?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that led to just years of yo-yoing. And I think now I'm in the best place I've ever been with my relationship to food. That doesn't mean it's perfect at all. I wish there was more. I love that you guys are talking about this on here because I think we have this idea of like body positivity. Like, what does that mean? That has so
Mhm.
many different, it's a different definition for different people. But I think we still live in a culture that like smaller is better. I think that's, I don't know.
I think it's harder now more than ever because everyone is on Ozempic or GLP-1s. I mean, every celebrity, influencer, any media that is
Yeah.
coming out from the Western world, people are, I mean, and the Middle East, everyone is becoming out smaller and smaller. Like it is
It's,
just that
it's
And
stereotype that's
just
being,
and just plastic surgery.
Mhm.
yeah.
We talk about this a lot. It is so confusing mentally to look at women who are older than you and see that they've clearly had work done, and if everyone's doing it, you're like, I don't have any judgment towards people who do it personally. Do what you want, if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. I would rather not, but it's
Mhm.
hard to say that when you're like, I also don't wanna look 15 years older than everyone.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
my only judgment is everyone's getting the same nose job and the same filler, so then everyone just
Everyone looks
kinda
the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
judgment is that people aren't doing it. It's kinda I heard talked to this girl the other day, and she was like, "It was great, I got, like, a Groupon for my Botox," and I was like, "If I'm doing Groupon, I'm not doing it with something I'm injecting in my face. Let me pay
never.
premium prices for anything that's going
Mhm.
That's
around there."
why.
Yeah, and I think the sadness of it is just making everyone so uniform. That to me, it's
Mhm.
not so much wanting to change what you look like,
Sure.
there are things still about my body that if I were in the financial position to do so, I'd totally go do a quick fix. Maybe I'll feel differently in 5 to 10 years depending how my healing journey goes, and I think that's always a moving train based on how you feel, so 0 judgment to people that feel like they need to. But it's just do it for yourself, for the right reasons, and not to look like your
Mhm.
favorite Instagram blogger.
Oh my God, wait,
Layla, how do you feel
we'll cut all of that.
emotionally in your body now versus how you were feeling when you were heavier?
Uh,
Do you
I
feel,
think
because you weren't unhealthy, like, do you
mhm.
feel
I
emotionally different?
feel very emotionally different. I think also when I'm trying to think of if I look back at photos, I also think I was much heavier than I think I realized I was then, but just healthy in terms of I was active and moving. I probably wasn't eating the healthiest. I think
Mm.
I feel so much more confident in myself and in my body, but it doesn't actually come from the weight that's been lost. It comes from the habits that I've built in this last year with the working out and I think
That's
also the
such a good
people.
distinction.
I think so much of the confidence has come from a lot of mental work, like therapy, vibe work, the people that I have in my life. Also, the goals that I've achieved physically, but not because I leaned out to do it, just the strength that I have now to be able to do it. Like competing the high rocks was like a really big thing for me. So I think I carry
And
myself
you
very
just ran,
differently.
what did you just run? You ran a half marathon,
My
10K,
no, no,
half
a
marathon?
10K.
Yeah, yeah,
I ran
still.
my 10K.
Sarah and I did a 10K. It
We
was
won.
the hardest thing we have ever that I've ever
We
done.
didn't win.
It was so hard.
Yeah. Well, also the
Oh my
finish
god.
line wasn't at the you would think like a race starts and ends at the same.
Hmm.
Sorry, good call.
No, no, on the course, the finish line was, she's gonna struggle to find the water, I think, in pie. Oh, she found it. It's hidden in a cubby. Just make sure you put it back after you pour some. Um, oh my heavens,
Poor thing.
having an issue. We
Finger down, finger down.
the start line, you
Hmm.
went through the start line again at the end of the race before then getting to the finish line. So we saw
Hmm.
what we thought was the finish line and we are like booking it. And it wasn't that much further. It was maybe 500 more meters or something,
Hmm.
but it was so,
Hmm.
yeah, it was so, so, so hard. So running is no joke. But we haven't talked about
No.
your 10K. How did it go?
It went really well. I shaved off about 4 minutes between my last 10K and this one. Yeah, it was a
That's so
speedy
cool.
one.
Did
I
you
think a
pour
lot of
one
it.
for Layla, kind of?
They're actually all for me.
Layla or Sarah just poured 3 glasses of water, and I was like, her brain is like, 3 people are here.
No, I'm gonna choke a few more times
Okay.
probably. So.
Yeah, fine. Wait, I'm curious your answer to that question too is, did you feel emotionally different after you lost a bunch of weight, like in any positive ways? Or because I'm just curious, is it something where you lose this weight and your body looks different and then you realize, "Oh, I don't feel happier."
Um, it's a really good question. I think unfortunately I actually did feel better in a lot of ways because I have too high of a barometer of my self-worth based on my size. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I think that's something I still really, really need to continue to work on. But I am objectively happier when I'm fit. I think my definition of what that looks like has changed now that I'm older
Hmm.
and my body has been through so many different stages. So now instead of desiring a body type that wouldn't work for me, that is just not obtainable unless I were to go through like insane surgery. I'm happy when I'm consistently lifting, I'm consistently cycling, I'm doing things that I know are good for me, not just physically, but mentally as well. Because
Hmm.
I also get so much, the brain fog just clears when I'm more active. And that I think I value next to also just feeling like I'm looking good.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I think unfortunately for me, yeah, when I'm in shape, I'm happier overall.
Do you feel the
I
same
think
way,
I have
Layla?
I have like I think two answers to it. I think the first time I lost a lot of weight, which was when I was like 16, 17, and did it in
Same.
an yeah, I did it in a very unhealthy way. So that is when I did keto, cut out all carbs, dropped probably at that point like 15 to 20 kilos over the span of like 4 months, which was like an extortionate
That
number.
that was literally that was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, and it was a similar thing where everyone in my circle, like family and extended family and then friends, it was just like kind of similar to you, like so many compliments and just so complimentary in terms of wow, you look so good now. And it's like, okay. And you just do the equation of I look good now, so I did not look good then. Like that just is what you reinforce to yourself. But because when I lost the weight, I mean, I look back at photos now and I weigh probably a similar weight now than I did then when I lost the weight. And I just, my mom and I always say, like, you could see how unhappy I was. Like, I look sullen around the eyes. Like, it was a very unhealthy weight loss. And I think it proved to me that I did not become happier when I lost weight, and that wasn't the solution, and nothing really changed. I was still stuck with my same problems, and I was still the same person. So I was actually, I think, more unhappy when I lost weight that first time because everything was proven to me in terms of, oh, okay, so you like me more now when I lost the weight, but also I've done it in such an unhealthy way. Like I was just deeply unhappy. So then yo-yoed, lost gain, and lost weight a lot over the next few years after that, just trying to recover. And then this time around, it's been a completely different weight loss process. And I think to what I was saying in terms of I carry myself very differently now, but it's because of I think, community I have at the gym, like at F45, which I've talked about too much, but the community of people there accomplishing the 10K, the high rocks, and like my strength ability alongside work teaching and being an instructor, which requires a certain level of control over people in a room and a confidence in that sense, all of that. And then like people in my daily life and the people that are not in my daily life anymore, all of that has given me a confidence and a self worth that I think people might attribute to weight loss, but it actually has nothing to do with the way my body looks. It's to do with everything else that's gone on internally and the people I surround myself with and just teaching, especially. I actually give a lot of credit to that, like being an instructor. And then a physical challenge is like being able to run a 10K, which of course I know that I run it faster now than I would have at my heavier weight, but it's not actually the time goal in terms of, oh, I'm lean, so I ran it fast. It was just like the skill of like, I put in time and I worked hard for this, and this is the result. But I think if you just look at me, like for people who don't know me that well, if you see me now in this smaller body and the way I carry myself, you might think, oh, she's lost weight, so she thinks more highly of herself. But it was very different this time around. But it's still a hard battle of like constantly trying to or making sure to remind myself that it's not, I'm trying not to attribute self-worth to the way I look because obviously we all know that is just
The
like
battle you just
a
can't
recipe for
win.
a disaster. Yeah. So you have to sort of, and I also know it's probably equally as bad, just in different ways, to attribute so much self-worth to strength and speed as well. Like I know that can be a whole other rabbit hole of like overtraining and working too much and like getting down. So I'm trying to be balanced, but God knows balance is a hard thing to find. So I'm just trying to take it baby steps. But yeah, hopefully there's an answer somewhere in that.
I think the answer is as long as you're focusing on the things that, as your mom would always say, like spark joy, and
Mm,
you're
that's
doing
nice.
all of that simultaneously. That I think now I'm the happiest I've been because I'm the most focused on like my path forward with what I want to do with my life. And that goes hand in hand with being in the healthiest relationship I've ever been in, with my relationship with food and with working out and all of that. You're right. Like it all happens to coincide with being in a smaller body, but there's a lot of
Hmm.
other things that are attributing to why that is happening. It's not just eating less and working out. There are a lot of
Hmm.
other things that are nourishing my soul, which makes me feel better,
And
and
what
thus I'm
are those
happier overall.
things?
What are those things?
What are you
Well,
focused on or working towards?
this past year, I've decided to focus on a solo singing career, which I've been doing music my whole life since I was like 13, even before that, but that's when I started training, and that went through years of music school, and then I came to London originally to do drama school. And then just this past year, I did a concert with a friend where I had helped him with some music. Shout out Dom. He's an amazing, amazing man. He got busy, life got busy, and I just kind of tried my own hand at writing music, and it ended up going surprisingly well. And now I'm set to release my first single in, I'm hoping November 3rd. We'll see. Um,
So exciting.
yeah, so you've kinda seen, like, the evolution of Sable Row, which is
That's true.
the
Yeah, where does
singer.
that come from? Is there an origin story? Maybe you told me.
Sable, I just
That's your
like,
stage name.
yeah, yeah, so Sable, I just like the name. Row
Hmm.
is a family name, and it's actually my great-grandmother's maiden name, and she always wanted to be a performer, And so I have a pin that I always wear on my jackets that whenever I sing, that was hers. So I kind of feel like she's with
That's
me
cool.
in
That's really
like
cool.
a funny little way. Emma Saxon Rowe, she was a badass. So yeah, it's all happened very quickly, but kind of coinciding with what Rosie's doing with your guys' business. How do you build that? How do you make it in a world where everything is so accessible via phones and you can make your own website and you can do all this stuff? How do you set yourself in your own lane with all the other voices out there? Because
Mhm.
I'm sure you guys get that with like other Pilates studios and other people doing similar-ish things. How do you, I can't say this word, differentiate?
Differentiate.
I'm super dyslexic, so,
Do you wanna talk on that note, do you wanna talk about TikTok and your
oh my
relationship with,
fucking god.
because Layla does anything TikTok for us, which we're
Oh,
not huge into TikTok, but I don't even know anything about it, but I've heard you talk a bit about, like, it's
Me
just
and
a
Sarah
weird
are out
one.
here commenting on each other's. Her and I are in the trenches of TikTok together.
truly. She's like my
I
biggest
just
fan on.
the first person I see who will like, I'll just see Sarah. I'm like, yep. And I go and I'm like, time to spam like her
I
as
love
well.
that. And there's been a few times Layla's been like, "Do you want the login info for the TikTok?" And I'm like, "It's
So,
scary. It's
there's
scary."
just so much noise out there, and I don't know what it's like in the stuff that you guys are working on and doing, but in the singing thing, everyone and their mother wants to be a singer. So,
Mhm.
I'm like, how do I, like, show my personality, also that I got a banging voice, but then also I, like, have to brand myself? I now have a brand image coordinator, my sister, but she's really building this world and she's crushing it. Shout out Stephanie. We love Babu. But that's what it is. It's just like you have to create, like literally forge your own story and build it out. And
Mhm.
I find it, I understand why they're teams of people. This is their
Yes.
professional job because it is so overwhelming.
100, and like kind of like you were saying in terms of everything being accessible, like building your own website and phones and things like that. I think it's
Yeah.
also can be hard to figure out, okay, what do I want to outsource and where should I be bringing on a team to help me and what
Yeah.
can I do myself and figure out? And even that
Yeah.
alone can be a lot, just like that decision is quite a
Yeah.
big one. And it obviously it can be detrimental to a success of a career. And so I think it also means that a lot of people feel as though, I mean, look at us at our little podcast. People are probably thinking, make it more expensive. These gals are yapping in our ear. But it's that, where drawing that line of when to outsource or figuring out when to outsource, when to invest and what to invest in.
Yeah.
It's a lot, whether it's a business or a TikTok or whatever it is.
Yeah. No, definitely the dream is to outsource as much as possible, but
Mhm,
I am finding the joy in being able to flex this creative muscle that I never really thought I would. And how do I want to build up Sable? I have notes and notes and pages of who Sable is to me and what does that mean and what does that feel like and how do I convey that in my shows and when I'm recording. And it's
mhm.
really freeing and it's really fun, but I find the immediate results of social media really daunting
Man,
because I'm
Sarah and I will
Mhm.
text each other, be like, "I got this many views. I got this many views." It's
and
such
I'm
a endless
yeah.
inferno.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
especially, like, I know I have addict wiring. I know it's why I've struggled with things in the past, and so to get, like, that dopamine hit, but then that, like, dopamine crash of, like, only 150 views on this one, and, like, my last one got 15,000, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just a
And it's
yeah,
such a the algorithm is so confusing. Like, I don't know why some things work and some things don't. And
And
also,
I
I
hate
think
that.
I was yeah, I was having a hard time with it because I kept thinking, "Oh, I should be posting, like, day in the life content," but I was really struggling with it because I just forget to film clips
Like
during
the
my day, like
voiceover things
yeah, yeah,
too.
like, and I
Yeah.
just kind of wanna enjoy my day, and, like, the idea of, like, filming all that content would really stress me out to the point where I just wasn't posting anything, and then the other or a week or 2 ago, I had the epiphany of, "Right, well, if you're not gonna post that, figure out what is going to be easy for you to post," and that has led to me, like, almost crashing out on my TikTok every day, just, like, posting kind of, but I'm now actually having fun with it because I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is actually enjoyable to me, and it's probably not gonna make this or get the same amount of views as something else would. But ultimately, the goal is not necessarily to build much on social media. Luckily, I don't have to in terms of it's more so just like a way for people to figure out my personality when you want to come to my Pilates class. Although I was talking to someone and they were saying it is kind of really important in the Middle East to like be getting into the social media world, and I was like, "Oh,
No,
great, my
they
least favorite part of my job, the
oh, no,
social
my
media."
my singing coach and, like, she's worked with some really, really famous people, and she's like, "You just gotta bite the bullet and do it,"
Mhm,
because we live in a world now where if you don't have the numbers, like, some people don't touch you, and
mhm,
I'm sure to, like, some extent that's very true, and I really value her advice, thus I am doing the whole TikTok thing. I also like to think that it can't always be like that. Like, it can't
mhm,
just be like these TikTok kids that are getting these contracts and then I mean, there's a lot of stories of people that go viral on TikTok, they all of a sudden get these careers. They go and they do a live show, but they've never performed live before and they crash out.
mhm.
And it's just it's not sustainable. So I think like everything, it's a pendulum swing. And
And with outsourcing things, I feel like the second we don't have to manage Honeycomb Studios Instagram and whatever and could hand it off to someone else,
No,
that's like the dream.
I'm hanging on to the stories because I wanna continue to post my bug eye stories. I
Those
will
are
I love those.
those are my favorite thing of all time. I love them. And actually, on that note, I was telling Tristan yesterday that I've been having more fun with social media than I ever have, and
Mhm.
that has been a super nice reminder that it can be silly, it
Can't be
can be
enjoyable.
super
I would say
fun,
that's
like
kind of what we were saying with the TikTok. Like, to me, the less seriously I'm taking it in terms of also to me, I struggled with the idea of perception. I feel like everyone, like the idea of people being able to see me and like my authenticity, but also I think the thing that differentiates me to other Pilates content creators or like book content creators is not going to be how good my editing is or my opinions. I think it's the fact that I'm more willing to be honest and open and authentic. And so that is what I'm riding on as my niche. So I think
yeah.
allowing myself to be sillier and just like post whatever on social media, kind of like you're saying, has caused me to enjoy it and actually have fun. Whereas before it was just the bane of my existence. So
And as you start to build, like, our little community, even, like, with sticky notes is not and Honeycomb Studios is not big by the stretch of anyone's imagination, but this is such a fun phase that I'm trying to enjoy because the people who are engaging with it are people that we know and like
Mhm,
and can laugh with.
mhm.
So I love when I post something about us or of us and the people I know are the people who are responding and clearly also just laughing with us about it. That I think will be way more fun than random username liking something that we're doing,
Hey, but
you know?
bring on all the random usernames.
But
Bring
also
on the
please
Please
join.
please like me. There's this great
literally.
quote that my it was a meme my sister sent me, and it was like, "The
Mm.
desire to be seen, but the fear of being known."
Oh
And
my god.
it's
Yeah.
so true. It's
That's
so true.
so true. And it's also tough because in many ways I feel like you have to have social media now to build something. And maybe that's a fallacy, maybe that's not really the case, but kind of feels like the case.
I
It
think it
sort
is.
of
It's
feels
such a
inescapable.
connected world. I think that that is how you get out there. I mean, even if it's like you could find success without it, yes, but your competitors are going to be on it and pushing for it, and that's going to give them even more success that you could have had as well. So I fear it's social media.
Sarah, where do you envision Sable Row in 10 years or whatever frame? 5 years, 10 years?
So, well, my mini goal is to by next year be able to open for like a semi big act and go on tour doing that.
Well,
But like I plan to be as big as like Madonna. That's really what we're aiming
Okay.
for. Like that Annie Lennox, Brandy Carlisle, who we're going to see tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Um, yeah, it's just it's kind of like a full send situation.
I don't Layla, I don't know if you feel this way because we've never really talked about, like, specific goals of Honeycomb Studios because 'cause we're great businesswomen in
Worldwide
that way.
domination.
Seriously, people ask me, "What are your goal?" And people ask me if I have, like, financial goals or membership goals or whatever, and I don't even know what I say, but in my head, I'm like, "As much as I possibly
Mhm.
as many
I think
people as I can connect, that is my goal." Like, I don't really understand why there's a I
yeah.
understand that you have to take it in bite-sized chunks, but I'm not there's no number we'll get to where I'm like,
Well, I don't
No.
understand. Also, people that are like, well, like realistically, it's like, fuck that. Realistically, what? Like,
I've had a few people recently say to me I'll be talking to them about Honeycomb Studios, and at some point in the conversation and these are, like, good friends, they'll
Mhm.
they'll be like, "Oh, wait, So so are you're planning on making money from it? And I'm like,
Yes,
yes,
thank you.
very much so. And
Yeah.
the purpose being then you can just like I really, really, really am excited about what it is. So
Mhm.
I want to be able to put as many resources back into it and like be
We believe so much in that classical world and
invest in other
community.
things that I wanna do, that we wanna do, like, it's not just to have,
I mean,
resources sitting there.
the financial, I think, was, like, the last thing we even really thought of because I remember the day you messaged me, like, "Hey, I've just run the numbers of, like, if we were to even get X amount of" I think it was, like, 100 people, and we, like, figured out how much we would be, like, generating, and we were like, "Oh, wow, like, that's a good chunk of change."
It's max.
It's a max.
It is a good chunk of change, but you're right. That was,
But
like,
yeah,
step 10
mhm.
of thinking about it even
But I
because
think
and yeah,
it's funny, we had this conversation last night, but I haven't told the podcast audience. And a lot of people have been asking me, they're like, "Oh, how do you and Rose sort of like or what cap would you say that you wear in terms of the business?" And I think you and I have just naturally been able to divide things so equally, and it's
tell
really
Sarah how
funny
you were
just
describing it yesterday to
yeah,
me.
and so because I was joking around with some of the guys at F45, and one of them was like, "Oh, what are you? CEO, COO, CF? Like, which hat do you want?" And I was like, let me hit you with the reality of the situation. I said, my business partner is the dreamer between the two of us. I said, she is like chief, and I said chief marketing officer, maybe even like COO. I was like, she is just as like any dream, it's coming out of her. And I said, it is so perfect because kind of exactly what you were saying, Sarah, like, you have to dream big. Dreams are not supposed to be realistic. You need to go out there and it's the whole you shoot for the moon. Even if you fail, you land among the stars. Like that is the whole
Great
point. Is
quote.
like you dream big. Dreams are not supposed to. And I saw, I think, one of the like life inspirational TikTokers say something along those lines as well. But it's so true. It's that you have to dream big, and whatever happens, happens. But I think between Rose and I, she is definitely the one that's really championing the big dreams. Like I wake up to messages of let's go on a retreat,
Many
let's have
messages.
merch, and I love it because I need someone to really pull me along, whereas I'm a little bit more grounded between the two of us. Whether it's happened naturally, whether it's just like a counterbalance to her, I'm a bit more, okay, so what's the deadline looking like? What's the budget? How are we gonna allocate? How are we gonna make sure it actually happens? And I think I bring us down to earth a bit more. So it's like I think in
For
that term,
sure.
I'm like I'm the CFO because this like I'm like the more serious one, the one that sort of everyone's like, "Oh god, the finance team are coming in." Like she's gonna come and tell us it's not in budget or whatever. And then our marketing team and like the team that are building out our website, Be More Design. I was like, they're like low key our
They're
CEO because
basically the
they
CEO.
they're
They're like,
keeping
"Have
us
you
in check.
done this?" And we're like, "What's that?" Like, I will thank Nikki every day of my life.
Yeah.
I also think as I feel like Sarah will understand this, and Layla, I'm sure you will too, but and this isn't judgment, it's going to sound like judgment. When I speak to people about Honeycomb Studios or what Sarah's doing, there are people who get it and there are people who don't. Like,
Mhm.
there are people who understand what that means to be, like, going and doing something, and there's people who don't get it, and that's fine. I'm almost envious of the people who are like, "What? How did
Mhm.
that make what are you doing? Hold on, like, I'm
Yeah.
not"
Well,
I don't know, how do you feel? Do you feel that sentiment
oh,
as well?
oh, completely. Because I also think that people think that there's a very specific way that you have to do things. We talk about this all the time, how you have university, and I think education as a whole, unfortunately, has shifted away from learning and being excited about learning into how
Mhm.
do you get a good degree, whatever the fuck that means, to go get a good job, and then you're just kinda, like, plugged into different systems here and there,
Mhm.
where I think what all 3 of us are doing are we're creating our own system. And,
Mhm.
I mean, just from my lens, musically speaking, most people that write songs, I think it's a bit more fluid, but the way I go about it is completely different than how apparently people are supposed to.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
To
actually, I when I went to Sarah's show in Putney, which she's also doing another show on the 14th.
Oh, yeah, if you're free, Layla, please come, but I think you're moving
I
actually by then. On the
Oh, is it
14th?
October or November?
Yeah, October.
No, I should be able to make it.
Yay! Wait, that's so fun. You can meet
Yeah, okay,
Sarah's
right.
mom
And
and
my
Babu.
grandmother.
Wait,
Yeah,
oh my
okay,
god,
wait,
you would love
I'm pulling up
Babu. That would
I'm
actually
pulling up
make
the
me so happy.
calendar
Sorry, you were
as we
saying.
I was just
speak.
saying, when I went to Sarah's first show, her guitarist afterwards I was talking to, 'cause he's amazing.
like
Mhm.
world-class
He's
guitars.
amazing, and he was telling me that Sarah came to him with a fully formed he said, "Usually, singers come to me, and they have, like, a loose idea of something, but it'll start from him, and he'll design chord progression, all the things, and then they'll fill in the lyrics." He's like, "Sarah came to me with a full song, start to finish, in her head." He's like, "I've never, ever worked with anyone who has done that before, and it actually worked really well. Because it's not you're also not the kind of person who and Layla's really good at this too. You don't show up somewhere and say, "Okay, this is how it this is it. This is what I'm bringing to the table, and if it's not exactly what I'm envisioning, I'm over it." You recognize the skill this person has and bring this fully fleshed out song to him, and you're like, "What do you like, you bring your asset to this now, and let's
Yeah.
see what happens." And it's been amazing.
Yeah, no, and it was coming from 2 complete opposite ends of how that works, and I think that a lot of people that have dreams of doing anything, like you of course, like you look up, like, how do people do this? What are the steps? How do you follow it? But then I think the people that break away and are actually really successful are the ones that come up with their own systems and
Mhm.
figure out their own way of going about it, which is why, like, I know I'm gonna be incredibly successful. I know you guys are gonna be incredibly
I honestly
successful.
have no doubts about it. Like, I
Yeah.
I
actually
think
don't.
it's also it's and I wanna try to find the unfortunately, it's another TikTok, but I can find the I wanna repost because I wanna find the speaker who was
Trigger.
talking about it. No, but it was actually very motivational. I mean, he's a motivational speaker, it just so happens that the clip was going viral on TikTok, but it was talking about the courage to, like, face failure and embarrassment and, like, putting yourself out there, which is ultimately what stops a lot of people from doing exactly what we are doing. I'm sure a lot of people have ideas or have aspirations, whether it be music or a career,
Mhm.
but the fear of failure of putting themselves out there, whether it be on social media or, having something that people deem unsuccessful is what stops them from doing it. And that to me is almost more embarrassing than for us to try something and for it to not succeed. And it was the person was talking about how so many people say, talk about what they want or and they'll be like, okay, they wanted XYZ business or whatever, but they don't even have a failure to show for it. They just didn't do it because they're like, no, it's not gonna work out. And it was the idea of trialing something. Who knows? It maybe it doesn't work out, but you have to believe in yourself that it will. But ultimately you have to put yourself out there. You can't just sit and say, oh well, it's too hard or it's embarrassing. And it is. I mean, it's not easy to put yourself out there, but ultimately I saw and then there was another quote, it was like, "Jump and the net will appear." Put yourself
Yeah.
out there and
Uh,
it'll figure itself out.
my first flop as a songwriter was writing a rewrite to Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, but about heroin for our 7th grade health project,
Oh,
and flop
That
or
was a
bop?
flop?
I
I feel
couldn't
like it was a bop.
I feel like I feel like the
I want to
first
see
half of it
this.
was it's somewhere on, like, the bowels of my
Yeah.
mother's garage band on, like, the home computer, but it was like, "Heroin's got me addicted," like, it was kind of like, "Girl, what you
Sing it,
doing?"
get up.
Sarah also has always had this confidence at summer camp. There was this thing that we did where at some point you would sit with your cat in, and at some point someone would yell freeze, and everyone had to freeze no matter what you were doing. And the first person who moved had to clear up the dishes. And Sarah got out of it by performing while people were going through the charade of freezing and like whatever. And she would stand up on the table
That's
at
so
summer
funny.
camp in the dining hall and sing Jingle Bell Rock. And no
She
one,
said, "I am not touching a dish."
the
Not me.
motivation was real for not touching a dish. But
Because the game was you had to make people break, and whoever
Mm,
yes,
broke and laughed was the one that had to clean up, and I was like, "I have eczema. I'm not touching this soapy dishwater. Like, I'm not doing it." So,
mhm.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
and there's such a range of confidence in kids, obviously. No one else was doing that. Standing literally standing on the table among the dishes, singing your heart
That's
out
so
at,
funny.
like, 13, 12.
Yeah. But my net was rosy, so
Mm,
even if it I mean, it crushed, let's be clear, it
It
crushed.
did, it
But,
did.
like, if it hadn't have like, Rosie was right there, and she was always gonna be my best friend, like, it didn't matter. So,
mhm.
I think we've been really lucky in our friendship that we have the space to take really big swings, and it doesn't really matter what happens. Like,
And
the
now you're
outcome's not
in a
important.
like, I have that now. Obviously, I've always had that with you, but in terms of a business setting, I also have that with
Yeah.
Layla, where I can say whatever the dream is, and
Mhm.
you never shut it down, and we have very positive conversation. We
Mhm.
always have very positive conversations about what we're working on and what that means, and you have that with me also, but with Mike, you have this
Prison
person,
Mike.
Prison Mike, that's what we call her boyfriend from The Office, Prison Mike, and he's there for the ride,
Yeah.
not just the end result.
And I think he gives me, Layla, kind of what you give Rosie is like he ineffectively, as of right now, is my manager. And anything that I say, any concept, he's like, right, let's do it. And then he's helping me behind the scenes figure it out and doing the stuff
Mhm.
that I'm not that I can't be bothered, but just my brain isn't good at, you know?
Fair.
And
There's so much shit, you guys, that has
oh
to
my
be
god,
done
yeah.
to advertise yourself, get content out there. That even the conversations Layla and I have had about what to charge for things literally will be like, "So what do you think? So what do you think?" We
Gone.
had one
Yeah, like
conversation about how often we want it to be paid. Every decision you have to make yourself, and it's exhausting. Super rewarding and fun, but exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in my field, at least, you have conglomerates that decide that and big music corporations that are building these artists that don't necessarily write their own stuff. So I will say, while I'm kind of livid, I haven't been discovered on the streets and it's not just like handed to me. It's also super, super rewarding that I'm figuring out my sound. I'm figuring out who my team is. I'm building what I want Sable Row's world to look like and the space that she gets to operate in. And I know at the end of the day, I'm going to be really grateful that I've had the grassroots effort from the bottom working
Mhm.
my way up because it's more fun and it's more creatively liberating.
Yeah, and it's gonna be so cool to watch it all happen for that same reason
Yeah.
as well, you know?
So come to
I
my
think it
show,
also showed
October 14th.
yeah. Well, I will put it on the account. I think it also shows you how important the people in your life are, especially the closest people to you. You obviously
Yeah.
I'm the single Pringle between the 3 of us, but you're both in very happy,
Did
healthy
you say single
relationships.
Pringle? Is that a
Yeah.
phrase? Single Pringle?
You're also
Go
she's younger
8.
than us, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
how old are you again? You're 20.
23.
Jesus, girl. You don't even wanna know what I was doing at 23. It was a rough time.
Single Pringle's the best thing I've ever
It's
heard.
so much
I
fun,
feel
like,
like I
don't
think
settle.
single Pringle, I'm pretty sure that phrase like predates you guys as well. I don't that's not like a Gen Z thing. That is like a
No, I think that's a millennial thing,
Yeah.
maybe even a boomer
yeah.
thing.
I was gonna say it's like a not a young hip term.
Wait,
But I
sorry, I
think
interrupted that. What were you gonna say?
My
I
eyes
was
are
gonna say I
literally like
think
About to wrap it up.
the people you surround yourself with, especially the closest people to you, can sort of make or break you in terms of they can be your biggest supporters or they can be the people that pull you back in terms of, oh, that's not achievable. Why would you even try? Or, oh, no, that's embarrassing. And I think I'll speak about Tristan because obviously I haven't met Mike, but I remember when I met Rosie's husband, Tristan, at the pie dinner, he has such a pure, like, golden energy, and I just remember watching the way they interacted and just him as a person, and I was like, "Okay, if this is the biggest" with respect to Sarah, but this is, like, the biggest other like, most important person in her life, then it was almost just something that I mentally took note of because he's a big part of your life, you are now becoming a big part of my life, like, our business is almost like a marriage or a relationship, and it was important to me to see who was in your close circle or who was important to you. So I think when I met him, I only got green flags and like just good energy as an individual. And it's not like he's a
That's
part
so
of any of
sweet,
our.
Layla.
Yeah, I thought I had told you this before.
He literally it's so funny you say that today because yesterday he was like, "Can you give me Layla's phone number? I think I needed to check in on her." And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." He's like worried about the pressure of the business. So I'm like, "I think
Oh,
she'll be
that's so
okay." But
sweet. Yeah, I really thought I had said this. Oh, well, here we go. This is a mess. Shout out Tristan. But I was like, okay, I like the way I could see the way he was like supporting and caring of you. But I was just like, okay, this is a person in her corner, and whoever is going to be the close, or like your partner in life, this ultimately this business will have direct or indirect effects on them. And I just want someone in your life who is positive and is going to be supportive for you as this business grows, hopefully. Like, I wouldn't want you to be with someone who was like, "What is this dream?" And obviously, you had been dreaming about this with him before I was even in the picture because you were
but
yapping
also
his
he
ear
had
off.
that sense about you too from what he'd heard from
Yeah.
me because he said, "What about Layla? Like that seems like that might." I was like, "You're so right, Layla." So the right people
Each
find
other.
each other.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And you
That's
made a
very
brief mention about Mike and this being the happiest or healthiest relationship you've been in. Do you want to tease
yeah.
anything? No, you were saying like bird and ball. I know we're close for time. Is there
Yeah.
anything you wanted to tease with that?
No doubt. We can
Okay.
definitely do another.
I'm gonna go pee while you explain, and then we can wrap it up when I come
Yeah.
back. I have French tutoring.
No, so Mike
We
is
need to do a part two because I feel like I could just talk to you for
I know, seriously. The fact that like I'm really upset that as she runs away into the distance, I'm super bummed that we haven't hung out more before you have left
yes. I
because like
know.
you are my type of person.
My
Like
God.
every time Rosie talks about you, I'm like, she sounds sick as fuck, dude.
When you are
So
also everything you're speaking about now, I'm like, I think this girl and I have lived the exact same life, just in terms of like everything when we were talking about like food and like body and fitness. I'm like,
no, we
I see
can
my
yeah.
future, and it's
Yeah, no,
bright. She's happy and healthy.
and there is such an I think when you're so aware of it, it can be such a curse in so many ways, but you find the blessings on the flip side once you do the healing stuff, and that is it's
Mhm.
just not a straightforward journey. But yeah, we could do a
We
whole
should do
other
you and I should grab coffee when Rosie, when she leaves,
100%.
you and I will go for coffee. The only good thing, and say the good thing about not respectfully, I was like, I'm kind of glad that I don't have another connection that I'm going to miss. I'm like, I will miss this friendship with you either way. But like, had I been
Yeah.
even more attached, it's like another person I'm losing. So I'm like
No, fair,
semi
fair.
alright building it long distance. But no, I wish we should have been. But anyways,
No, we should.
okay,
Well, I mean, you're gonna come
back,
back. You're gonna come back, so it's all good.
yeah, and we are
No,
forever connected. We're
I
stuck
know. Like
together.
you can't get rid of me, girl. Like
No,
it's like this is locked in now.
literally. Okay,
No, but
birds and birdies are what? Tell
birdies
me.
and bombs. So Mike, I mean, his story is so fascinating. I'm so excited for you guys to talk to him because he went from like literally cusp of having a professional rugby career to life-changing injury to what the
Wow.
fuck do I do now and is now a semi-professional virtual golfer, which is
Oh,
a story in its own self. But his business, which he launched spring of last year, is called Birdies and Bombs, and it's a golf specific fitness training. And watching him kind of go through the same thing that Rosie is, she's bang, but
running into the sunset.
he's been built. He doesn't have a business partner. I'm the closest thing he has to a business partner, and just building it ground up in this space that doesn't have a lot of fitness instructors. He's kind of really pioneering the space in the virtual world and just golf fitness in general, which isn't a huge thing. But his story is really cool. Like you guys are really going to enjoy talking to him and hearing the pitfalls and the things that we've run into building up his stuff has been wild.
We'll have to do part 2 for sure. We have to wrap it up,
Mhm.
but part 2 and lots more people to come. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a theme song.
Imagine.
There's a Birdies and Bombs theme song. I'll send it to you. It's fucking hysterical.
I was gonna
we
say
need a
we
theme
need to
song.
get you to do a theme song for Sticky Notes. Yeah,
Can I
the
write one
Sable
for you
You
Row.
guys?
should. Will you write one for us?
Yeah.
Consider it done.
So
Done.
fun. Dang. Well, that's it for now.
Ciao
You
for now.
See you tomorrow, Layla.
Bye.
Bye. See you, ladies. Bye.
You hit, yeah.